We've picked up a little more clarity about what's going on. Auburn puts out a statement, as well as Derrick Mason took a pay cut. What does this all mean? That's all on today's Locked On Auburn.
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zac Blackerby. Thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. We are joined, as we are every Tuesday, by Auburn message board legend Charlie 5. A lot of talk about this statement that came out yesterday, Charlie 5, and people viewing it in different ways, but I thought we would start the show today by talking about that. Then we could jump into other things related to Bryan Harsin at Auburn University. So this is a statement from Auburn University. The Auburn administration is judiciously collecting information from a variety of perspectives, including our student athletes, and moving swiftly to understand any issues in accordance with university policies and procedures. Decisions regarding the future of Auburn and its athletics programs, as always, are made in the interests of our great university and in fairness to all concerned. We do not make institutional decisions based on social media posts or media headlines.
Oh,
no hashtags this go around.
Not this time. Not so fast.
May have worked 14 months ago, but not
this time. We learned our lesson.
We're done with that. So, two questions. What did you think about the timing of when this was put out? And then also, obviously, what it said.
So, the timing was interesting because it's funny to me because it's like a statement to say we're not going to listen to social media stuff in response to all the social media stuff. So they're basically making a statement saying, hey, we're not listening, even though the reason we're putting this out is because we're listening, if that makes sense. Does that make – it's kind of weird that was the wording. And it's kind of like a reactionary post to saying we're not listening, but it's a reaction to all the, everybody getting fired up on social media.
Right. But they would probably want us to believe that that's not the case, that they were aware of it beforehand, right? That's kind of
Also, another interesting piece from the statement, it said that they're interviewing, personnel, players, all that variety of perspectives of our student athletes. And then a lot of the student athletes were the ones, sounding off on Twitter. So, I don't know. It was. I don't really get the point of it. I didn't really get why they had to make a statement. Is there something I'm missing there? Why they had to make a statement?
Well, I was in the camp that they needed to, but I don't think you told us anything. You could have put that statement up on Saturday.
Yeah, when it started.
You could have put that up over the weekend at any point. You did not need to wait until November to do that. November. What? Monday. What is going on? What was that?
That was way out there, bro.
I said it was so much confidence, but I'm like, no, it's not November. It's
convinced
February.
me. You convinced me that it was fall, like we were about to play Saturday.
Yeah, that was weird. I
was pulling up the schedule.
No, I got a feeling a lot's going to happen between now and November.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so I think the whole gist of the timing is weird to me. And it's just totally unneeded. I mean, there's so many unforced errors in all of this. I mean, Auburn has handled this well. No matter what happens, if Harsin stays, if Harsin goes, whatever, this has been handled horribly.
I would agree. But how do you handle this situation in a good way? Like, how do you handle
you either let them go or you back them up. They know what they're going to do at this point. They have to know.
I agree, but the guy's on vacation. Like, I think they want to at least have a face-to-face meeting before they do something.
What is that going to do, though? What is a face-to-face conversation going to do? I mean, let's don't act like if the board is going to do what a lot of people think they're going to do and remove Bryan Harsin from all of this, let's don't act like they care, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that is not their goal here. Their goal
Well,
is to, get Bryan Harsin out if all the reports are true. So it's like, why? It's weird to me. And props to Harsin for not caving and, staying on vacation, all that. I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
I think it's great. I think it's part of his charm. But, they don't care about the decency aspect of it. It doesn't appear.
No.
That seems to be the inconsistent part of all of this.
Well, it may be so, but and again, this is just speculation. If you have cause, if you feel like you have cause, and you want to give the guy a chance to take a reduced buyout or something like that, and you want to put it in front of him, like, look, this is what we have. We're going to offer you this for this to go away, or this is going to be what we pursue. You know what I mean? Like, could it be sort of like a, maybe not necessarily let's have the decency to tell him to his face, but at least if he's on vacation, he's not listening. We say, hey, look, we have this, and this. This is violation of A, B, C, D of your contract. If you want, we can take this buyout or this reduced buyout, or we're going to pursue this and not pay you anything. That is speculation, but I think that's something along those lines. I think is somewhere around there is probably what's happening.
I get that. And that's not an angle that I had thought about before, but I don't see there being a whole lot of negotiation once this comes to a head. I don't think Harsin's that kind of person. I don't think the board is in a situation where they want to achieve any kind of compromise unless it involves getting Harsin out. I just don't think Harsin's going to fold. I don't think Harsin's going to agree to anything that involves him leaving. Even if they think they have something with cause and they show you, hey, this is what we're going to push. I see Harsin being the kind of guy like, okay, let's fight. Let's do this.
Exactly. Is there anything more on brand than them asking him to come home early from vacation to talk this thing out, and he just tells them no? No, I'll see y'all when I get back, and we, whatever we got to do then, we'll do it. But nah, I'm not answering my phone, and we're not talking. That's just, and I'm not giving in. I'm not giving him 1 inch. That is definitely on brand, and it is admirable that he is. He's standing his ground, and hey, they're on the hook. They're on the hook for the money. So the onus is on them. You know what I mean? Not Bryan for this.
No, I think it's great. And that's Coach Harsin to you. Remember, we've been through this.
Oh, sorry, listener. Coach Harsin.
You're okay. Hey, today's show is brought to you by BetOnline. They have you covered this season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before as football's approaching the Super Bowl. But it's not just football. BetOnline.net has up-to-the-minute info on pro and college hoops, NHL, boxing, UFC, along with live real-time updates of current games. BetOnline.net remains the best spot for all your sports scores, podcasts, and news this season. BetOnline, where the game starts. All right, Charlie 5. So yesterday, when I was talking with Lindsay, I kind of framed this around, worst case scenario.
Yeah.
Right. I want to talk about what I think is the best case scenario today.
Okay. Let's talk about best case scenario.
I think the best case scenario in all of this is Harsin stays on staff. He's the dude. And he takes from all of this the fact that he needs to work on 2 very key things.
Yeah.
PR and messaging. It's been terrible.
Sure.
And hey, maybe I'm not doing enough recruiting.
Yeah. I've said this in the Discord. I said, if Bryan Harsin came back and said, and obviously this is just me paraphrasing, hey, recruiting is a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. I've already hired tons of these off the field guys. I'm about to go on a apology tour to all high school coaches that I may have either not picked up the phone for, missed an awards banquet, left early without speaking to. I'm going to hit these high schools as hard as I can in every waking moment, and I'm going to recruit like my hair's on fire, and I'm going to make some concessions, not necessarily to the culture that I want to live, but understand that I have to, quote unquote, play the game. I have to go do the cha-cha slide at somebody's birthday party like Nick Saban does. I'm going to have to talk about things with kids or direct them in areas, that, I feel like, under my principled stance, I feel like that takes away from just talking football. And I'm talking about NIL. Like I said, coaches can't say, hey, this person go, I got you a job when you got here, but they can maybe say, hey, I know who's hiring. You know what I mean? Like it's not like it's illegal for a coach to set up a NIL deal, but it's not illegal to say, there are people out there that are doing it in Auburn. And if you come to Auburn, there's people that will take care of you. Pushing that, making recruiting the focus. If he were to come back and say all that stuff, I'd be back on board,
Yeah, because his mentality, we loved that.
Yes. Yeah. Love it. 6 and 7 has nothing to do. Nothing, 1% to do with, I think, the biggest frustrations with most people. 6 and 7, losing 5 straight. That has little to nothing to do. It's you sign, and I don't care what anybody says. You can call it a top 20 class. Trey Donaldson is a basketball player. So you take him out of the class. We're 10th in the SEC, outside of the top 20 in recruiting. That can't, over a long period of time, that is probation for Auburn, essentially. That will put you on probation. If you're not signing full classes, if you're not filling your needs, that is just bad business. Bad business in the biggest business aspect of college football, and that's recruiting. If he came back and said, things are different, I'm changing, and this is how I'm going to change, I'm back on board, because I don't care about how mean he is at practice or how mean he is in the locker room.
And I don't care that he's about to hire his 5th coordinator in 14 months. Like, I think you can look at each of those in a isolated situation and be like, okay, that makes sense. And we'll talk about the Derrick Mason pay cut thing in a second, but it's the approach to, you got to play the game, like you said. And the whole gist of, okay, can he see, okay, this is a different job than what I had at Boise.
Yes.
Can I adjust and adapt? Because I want to be here so stinking bad, I'm willing to do what it takes.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's that kind of dude, because, he's very confident in his ways.
Yes.
And, I think it would go a long way to see folks, for folks to see him kind of adjust that a little bit.
Yeah, and honestly, if I don't necessarily I'm not really like expecting it to be said to me or to the fans, but like just some evidence, that's happening. Like I said, going on a tour of high school. Like I want to see him in schools in Mobile. I want to see him in schools in Birmingham. I want to see pictures. Kirby Smart, less than 48 hours after winning the national championship, he's at freaking Phoenix City. He's at Central Phoenix City. They got 3 studs at Phoenix City this year. It's 40 minutes from Auburn. He was there 48 hours after winning the national championship. Like that's got to be done. That's got to be done. If you just see stuff like that, I want to see him out there. I want to see him doing stuff like that. And if that were to happen, I really do think he could really turn this thing around. Some of his mindset, I really do think Auburn needed. If you can't understand the importance of recruiting, then we're just denying the inevitable.
Do you think if Harsin went to the board after he returned and kind of made this plea, would it do anything, or is the damage already done? And their minds are made up with what they want to do?
I really do think their minds are made up. I do think their minds are made up, but I think it would be beneficial for him beneficial for him just to understand in general that that's got to be done to be successful at this level and not the Mountain West. So I would like to see it. I think it would garner him a lot of favor, and I'm not sure how much of an impact it would make, but if you're going that, I mean, that's what they're looking for. That's what they're looking for. That's what they want. That's what they want to see you doing. So, if it's a Hail Mary, if it's genuine, maybe it works. Maybe it works.
Yeah. Would you be able to relax if you were him on vacation, knowing that all this is going on? Or is the whole like, well, if they let me go, I get, more than most people make in a lifetime? Whatever.
Those guys are wired different.
Totally.
They're wired different.
Totally.
If it were me and I'm at a resort with my wife, everything's paid for, and I know I'm going to have 12, 18 mil in the bank, regardless of what happens in the next week. For me, I'd probably be trolling. I'd probably be trying to, I don't know. I really don't know. I'd be hanging out. But these guys, I would honestly, he's probably thinking about football. He's probably thinking about football the whole time, or he's probably wired thinking about workouts or things like that, in-house. Like, I mean, I just don't know.
Right.
It's just different
mindset. I think that's the right answer. I think that's absolutely the right answer. Yeah, absolutely. All right. I want to talk about Derrick Mason taking a pay cut in just a moment. This episode is brought to you by Rock Auto. With the ever-increasing numbers of makes and models, it's now impossible for your local chain auto parts store to stock all the parts that you need. So why endure the often pointless or seemingly intimidating questioning and wait while the person behind the counter orders a part on their computer? They're just going to order it because they don't have it in stock, and then they're going to get it shipped in. You got to go and pick it up. Just do it yourself. And you can do that by going to rockauto.com. So this saves you time. It saves you money because, a lot of these parts are marked down 30, 50, even 100%. Rock Auto is a family business serving do-it-yourselfers for over 20 years. Go to rockauto.com right now and see all the parts available for your car, truck, or SUV. Right? Locked On in their How Did You Hear About Us box so they know that we sent you. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, and all the parts your car will ever need at rockauto.com. So reports came out that Derrick Mason will be making $1.1 million.
Ouch.
Instead of $1.5 million. So he steps away. Apparently told folks that he was done with coaching. Pops up a few days later at Oklahoma State as a DC. And he's going to be like the highest paid coordinator in the history of Oklahoma State. But still $400,000 less annually than what he was making at Auburn. Does this mean anything?
I don't know how you can't look at this and sort of at least raise some red flags. Like, number one, Derrick Mason is one of the most well thought of coaches in the country, regardless of position, regardless of head coach, assistant coach. Dude is respected all around. Even Vanderbilt, they hate, it was one of those things where they just hated to fire the guy because everybody loved him so much.
Right.
He comes to Auburn. The kids absolutely love him. He's a freaking phenomenal recruiter. Regardless of how you want to convince yourself we weren't good on defense last year, we were statistically better in every category that mattered. Yards per game, yards per play, points per game. The guy can coach football. The guy is big in the community. He's just an all-around dude, and you just don't think this is not the kind of guy that breaks a promise. Okay, this is not the kind of guy that just bails on people. And I just feel like for him to leave and take a $400,000 pay cut, okay, that's more than a lot of people make in many, many years. Okay, sure. A $400,000 pay cut to go to a not only take a pay cut, but you're going to a school that in general, from a prestige standpoint, it should not be as high as Auburn. So you're taking essentially a demotion. And then I want to go ahead and go back to the week before when he actually left. The hang up why he didn't get hired by Oklahoma State immediately was because they would not pay his buyout. He had a pretty big buyout. So when he resigned from Auburn, not only did he take a pay cut, but when he resigned, he didn't have a job. He resigned on a Thursday or Friday. He resigned without having a job. He left Auburn without having a job. And it wasn't until the following Tuesday when Oklahoma State finally called and said, fine, we'll pay the buyout, when he accepted a position. So he took a pay cut, and he was even willing to make no money. So he took a $400,000 pay cut, but he was willing to take a $1.5 million pay cut for 1 year to just not be in this environment anymore. So take from that
what does that mean? So if we're supposed to read between the lines here, what's it say?
That's a good question. It could say a number. It could say a number of things, but I mean, I think the biggest thing it says is a dude that is very makes a move that's very out of character for him and out of character for most normal human beings to get away from Auburn. So whether that be from disagreement on recruiting philosophies, defensive philosophies, future philosophies, his involvement in the future, I mean, whatever it was bad enough that he was willing to take a $1.5 million pay cut, and it only ended up taking a $400,000 pay cut for a year. So that's not a good look. That's not a good look. There's no way to spin that. A lot of people try to talk about him lying. He lied to the players. Well, there was some guys that tweeted stuff that seemed like that would allude to that. And then they end up deleting the tweets because I'm sure he probably called them and explained it, and they took their tweets down. Like I said, when he told those kids he was not coaching next year, he believed he had accepted the fact that he did not have a job when he was leaving Auburn. It's like I said, if you ask me, Zach, to borrow $10 on a Tuesday, and I tell you I don't have it, and then I find $10 on Wednesday, did I lie to you on Tuesday? No, you did. No, you didn't. No, I didn't. So it's crazy, man. The Derrick Mason thing that's just blows my mind that went down.
Well, do you think that situation is similar to the Austin Davis one, or is the Austin Davis one, are there external factors involved in that?
Well, I think it's similar. I think it's similar. I think there's some credible evidence that he wasn't going to be as highly involved in the offense as he may be led to be. And there's some recruiting things. People try to say Austin Davis didn't want to recruit. I've seen evidence contrary, that he was very ready to recruit, and it was not necessarily a priority. And I think you've seen
evidence contrary? What does that mean?
I've shared it in the Discord. If you want to see it, go to Discord. I think it's a pinned thread in the Discord. But I've seen and I've shared evidence contrary, that Austin Davis was very ready to recruit, and that whole emphasis was just not a part of the plan as far as our philosophy. So,
got it. Let's end this on a lighthearted note.
Sure.
Topgolf.
Yes.
It's coming to Jordan-Hare Stadium.
I can't wait, man.
You gonna sign up?
I'm gonna have to sell like a kidney to go play on. I think it's like $175 to do it or something like that, isn't it? But
yeah, it's a lot.
I've seen this stuff. I've seen this stuff around, and this tour that they go on. And I think with our laser light show that we have in the stadium, I think it will be such a cool experience. I'm definitely signing up, definitely going to do that. So I think it's a really cool deal. Really cool deal. And there may be a Topgolf coming to Auburn. So
maybe. They've been saying that for years, though. If you want to donate for Charlie 5, if you want to send Charlie 5 to go play Topgolf at Jordan-Hare, and he can vlog about it, we can put it up on the Locked On Auburn YouTube page. Reach out to him in the Discord.
That would be great.
Happen. We can absolutely make this happen. I believe it.
You're talking earlier about the statement, and like what does that say? I'm ready to make a statement next Tuesday. I got my Eat Sleep Charlie Tuesday t-shirt on the way.
that you bought from aushirts.com?
From aushirts.com. I got my own t-shirt headed this way. I'm pretty excited about it. I'm probably going to sleep in it at least every other night, so I got time to wash it. So,
do you think I'm going to get roasted today on the message boards?
Because you got roasted yesterday? Is that what you're saying? Or for the Kevin Steele?
I feel like I was better today.
Yeah. I think this today will be good.
I didn't see it. I just got text about it.
Yeah. You kind of caught some heat a little bit for the Kevin Steele thing. But you know what? I mean, logically, you would have to think that if the guys that didn't get their way the first time, they're getting their way this time, I could totally see where.
Yeah, that was the point I was trying to make, is how similar this feels to 14 months ago.
Sure.
And it was all tied to Kevin then.
But anytime somebody can take your words and say you're predicting it.
Oh, let me
stress. You predicted it, bro.
Let me stress. It doesn't bother me. I just think it's funny.
Yeah.
Because look, people have, it's funny. A lot of the comments are like, how negative, and how anti-Harsin. But like, we've had 2 members of the staff reach out and say that they appreciated how our coverage has been. 2 different members of the coaching staff.
The live show, we caught a lot of heat for, I feel like. And staff members reached out and told us how much they appreciated that. And
biggest Harsin supporters in the world, folks that followed him across the country.
Yeah, exactly.
Are thanking us for, how we approached it. So it's like, I don't know. People want to be negative. That's okay. Charlie 5, how can people find you, hear you, love you, support you, all that good stuff?
Absolutely. You can follow me on Twitter at @the_Charlie_5. Mix it up. The AuburnLive.com, the corner message board, or Monday, Wednesday, Friday on the Dad Bod Golf Pod and the Auburn Locked On Auburn Discord. Link in the bio.
Yeah, I'll put the link in the episode description, both on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast. Yeah, we will put that there as well. Hey, subscribe to the show. We're about to break 4,000 subs on YouTube. That'd be awesome. And if you're listening on iTunes, leave a 5-star review. Really helps the show out a ton. We'll be back tomorrow right here on Locked On Auburn.